Now, Good Morning Orlando again probes the mysterious world of the Millennials to reveal how and what young America thinks. It's another spine-tingling journey into Yaffee World.
Well, Bud.
Yes?
It just amazes me how much I'm right on stuff like
Must
this.
be hard to be you.
I know.
What a burden
it is. Because I've been saying this for a long time, and now the polls are showing that I'm right. According to a new poll by Gen FKD, they find that millennial voters, while they make up 36% of all eligible voters.
Now that, for folks who are new to the show here into Yaffee World, would be your generation, the Yaffee generation,
Yes.
18 to 34.
The Yaffee generation, as it should be called. Generation Yaffee.
I'm trying to help you here, man. You got to get rid of this millennial thing. I like the Yaffee generation.
Exactly. I like that too.
Okay.
But 85%, according to this poll, of these voters feel ignored by the 2016 presidential candidates.
That's a big potential voting block,
It
Yaffee.
is.
This is important stuff.
It had a huge difference in Obama getting elected.
Yeah.
And this is something that I've been saying for a while, that the GOP really needs to wake up and address my generation, because they haven't been, and I've been warning them, and now the poll shows that I'm right. Millennials feel ignored by them. And by the way, what really scares me is the only one who's really addressing them in all the presidential candidates in both parties is Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is
Rand Paul, but then again, he's really not really even competitive at this point. Bernie Sanders seems to light up the Yaffee generation. I don't understand it. As we're going to find out in the next hour, I mean, the reality is, if Bernie Sanders becomes president, he's going to be in their pocket for the rest of their lives. The tax hikes are going to be unbelievable from this socialist here. But the Yaffee generation still seems to love the guy for some reason.
Yeah, it's annoying. Well, I think part of it is this. The poll found that the top 4 issues millennials care about are jobs and economic growth,
Okay.
climate change.
Oh, please. Really?
Yeah, it's number 2.
Well, then you just got a bunch of left-wing whack jobs in your generation. We got to purge them, Yaffee.
Remember, they've been indoctrinated about climate change for years in the schools.
That's true. Good point.
But look, number 3 is health care, and number 4 is student debt. Now, if you ask most of the GOP candidates what they're talking about, it's not these things. It's usually illegal immigration,
right,
national security,
right,
and corruption in Washington.
Yeah.
They're not addressing the issues that millennials care about, according to this poll, except even though Bernie Sanders' solutions are incredibly wrong, incredibly bad, he's at least addressing the issues they care about.
Yaffee.
Yes.
Okay? Because you were so right on this. If you could gather the Republican candidates for president around you,
yes,
would you be able to tell them what it is they need to start advocating that would connect with the Yaffee generation, turn them on, and get the votes?
Yes. Well, I would tell them and educate them how much the free market will help economic opportunity in this country more than you can believe. Because right now, believe it or not, Obamacare is not really popular with my generation. So all they have to do is address, and look, Obamacare is a government program. This is what happens when the government gets too much in your life. It ruins your economic opportunity and your future and your freedom. And I think the millennial generation will respond to that. The other thing is student loans.
Yeah.
And they can educate them once again, because government involvement in those schools, in the student loan in the programs, is what has caused the problem. But I think the biggest thing is all they have to do is at least address it. Just at least talk about it and come up with your own solutions to these problems. And by the way, the other thing I would tell them to talk about a lot is the debt. It's not talked about enough. And
the national debt.
Yes, the national debt.
And what it's going to shoulder them with for the rest of their lives.
Well, yeah, it's my generation that's going to have to pay for that.
You bet.
So if it were me, if I were a political advisor, I would at least have them start with addressing and talking about the issues in Yaffee World.
Join us next time for another illuminating journey into the mind of the millennials in Yaffee World.